Here on St Helena, people have been crafting for generations. Initially, this was born purely out of necessity. People couldn't go online and order something, they couldn't go to the shop and buy something if they needed it, so often they had to make it from scratch using natural materials. This meant that a lot of St Helenians developed crafting skills purely out of necessity. They learned how to make useful products from the natural materials that they had around them. However, over the years, these skills have been slowly dying out, mostly due to our new modern day way of living and not really needing these crafts anymore. The problem with losing these crafts is that we're losing a key part of our culture. The island would simply not exist as it is today without the ingenuity and creativity of its local crafters. Now, thankfully, I'm not alone in thinking this. There are a handful of crafters who are out there today still practicing these traditional local crafts. And more recently, there has been a greater push from certain organizations on the island to revive these crafts and keep our culture alive. One of the most prominent organizations in this space is the Art and Craft Center based in Jamestown. This organization primarily champions locally made products, arts, and crafts, which they sell in their shop.
So when you first walk in, that's where you got your postcards and your cards and prints. And then our main focal point at the moment is showcasing our woodwork, our locally made and local woodwork.
Tell me a little bit about the state of the local crafts on the island at the moment.
It's not very good, not very good at all. Unfortunately, traditional art especially is a bit of a dying craft. It's something that lives with the older generations. They have the skills, they know how to process raw materials. And the younger generations, they're not taught it in schools, or they may not be interested, or they may not have the means to do all these things. So it's really dying out, unfortunately, and it would be a shame. It would be a shame for the island to lose all of this wonder. So what we're trying to do is, I guess, encourage more people to use traditional crafts and traditional materials and make something modern, contemporary, revamp it. It doesn't mean that everyone needs to knit doilies. It doesn't mean that everyone needs to make placemats or things that everyone used to do. We want it to be the individual expression and just promote the craft all across the island. And if that's something we can do in education or just as this place alone, we're going to try.
So now I want to showcase some of the crafts that are still happening here today. The first one that I wanted to show was aloe work. So aloe work is a traditional craft that took advantage of the vast amount of aloes that grow here wild on the island. This process involves harvesting aloe, stripping it of its fibers, drying those fibers, and then weaving those fibers into useful products. This would have started sometime in the mid-20th century. It's not known exactly when it started. It wasn't really recorded, but it was quite a popular one in its heyday. It would have been a fairly common craft back then, purely from the demand from the products that were made from it. However, now a lot of those products are mass-produced and manufactured in other countries around the world. However, today there are still a few people who are practicing this craft. In fact, there's an organization on the island known as Shape that not only just practices this craft, but they actually sell products made this way today.
So the importance of doing this is because at Shape, of course, we are all about working with organic materials and making use of the resources we have on island and have the connection to the old crafts. We always had craftspeople working here at Shape, people who retired now, and we really would like to keep that going. And have, it's important for the island. It's important for Shape. So that is why we keep focusing on that.
Another traditional craft on the island is lacework. This is the craft of producing delicate fabric using thread woven into very intricate patterns. Traditionally, this would have been used to produce clothing, curtains, tablecloths, and other various useful fabrics. I got the chance to speak to a local lace maker called Gloria Leo. She kindly invited us to her home where she gave us a lace making demonstration and told us a little bit about her journey with lace herself.
When I was just a little girl, just going to the primary school, I would say. My mom used to be doing lace, and at times she would go out, on her own choice. But I used to sit and watch her while she was doing the lace, and that's how I learned my own self how to do lace, just by watching her. And then one day she went out, so I say, let's see if I can do a bit on the lace cushion. So probably it's a bit easy sort of lace, and I did on her cushion. So when she came home, she found out that I, did something on the cushion. So I said to her, is that all right? She said, it's fine.
Now, this next crafter that I'm going to showcase is a bit of a local legend. Wanda owns her own tailoring business, but she has also contributed so much to the local crafts here on the island. She has developed many crafting skills over the years. We asked her to show us the craft of flax weaving and also a little bit of wool spinning. And I just wanted to ask her a few questions about her thoughts on the crafting on the island. How long have you been crafting now?
Well, I've been here with my own business for 17 years.
Okay.
And then I was always into craft anyway, because I was at Benice's first. I was a tailoring business, and then I always was working for the handicraft right back in the day, like back to the 80s.
Okay.
So and wool spinning was my very first job. So
Okay.
It's dear to my heart, if you know what I mean. I just don't have the time to keep it up and going. And then lace was like actually taken on and shown to me from a very early age, maybe about 10 or so, 9, 10, from my mother, grandmother, and it just handed down the line. And after, when I got to age that I was out actually working, I would start to go and get patterns from the books from the library, and in later years the internet. And so I sort of basically taught myself in the end.
And like in like a almost a naive question, but like how you think us can increase interest or increase the value of crafts like this?
I would say, I'm not sure if I should say it, but anyway, it needs to be taught in the schools.
Okay.
That's my number one point. If it was taught more in schools, then when the children come out of the school, it might not be, like I say, they could pick up a job from it, but it could be sidelines, definitely.
Yeah.
And it also brings the heritage to a forefront.
Yes.
It's all very well learning sciences and geography and stuff that's happening in the world, but they're living here. And if we want young people to teach that heritage and for that heritage to survive, then they need to understand about the flax and how it's progressed over the last 150 years from being a commercial product to now a way of crafting and showing people things. And if the young people don't know that and don't have a experience of it, then you can't expect that heritage to continue. These crafts are literally dying out on a weekly basis as people pass on, and so in 50 years time there's not going to be anyone left who knows how to do this, so and that's lost, that's gone then.
And I think in the flax, say Liz, you're doing an arm nearly now, but there's so much that you could do with flax that is really usable.
Yeah.
And like the coasters, the placemats, and the baskets, and stuff,
like...
they're really usable. So why can't you go out there and get that free product and they're free materials, should I say?
Yeah.
And make up stuff that you could.
And it doesn't always have to be about making money, I think it's about using the flax and people using the flax in their homes and not thinking, oh, well, if I've spent the time making this thing, then I need to recoup my time in a monetary way, because it's not about that. Somebody gave me some flowers and I didn't have a vase, so I made a basket out of flax and cut a plastic bottle and put that in it, and so then I've got a usable thing. It doesn't matter that it's taking time. I've not had to go out and buy that.
And unless they do it in school, I can't see how we can keep the craft alive. And it goes to all kinds of craft, Lewis. seed work, you don't get a youngster out there collecting seeds, doing seed work. And lace, my God, I don't see a youngster doing lace. And we have to sort of grab them into the school to do the flax. So eventually, aloe, no young person out there does aloe.
No.
So if you can't keep that alive now, then it's never gonna.
So this nicely leads us into the reasons why crafts have been dying out. From talking to these crafters and organizations, it's not hard to figure out that one of the main reasons why crafts have been dying out is the financial side of it. Very simply, there's no longer a demand for locally made products, and thus there is very little or often no money to be made from selling these items. However, whilst organizing this video, I maybe have discovered another reason why these crafts have been dying out. This reason is a bit hard to quantify. Basically, while we were trying to organize the filming of this video, we found it quite hard to get crafters who actually wanted to be on camera. And the problem with this, of course, is that in order for me to make this video, I want to showcase people's passion and show them talking about their crafts and shows kind of their pride in what they do. And in order to do that, I need them to be on camera to do so. But they didn't want to be for various reasons. Now, I'm not exactly sure why a lot of these people didn't want to be on camera. It could have been just purely just not really interested. But also, I think potentially it's like fear of judgment and maybe a few other reasons that we don't quite know. Because of this, I thought I would ask Wanda and Liz for some of their thoughts and opinions on this issue. And Liz, who is a relative newcomer to the island, had quite an interesting perspective. So I wanted to share that.
I think it's the same thing. As an outsider, I think that's the same thing. I think not wanting to blow one's own trumpet or being like, look at this amazing thing that I made. You know, that I think that's definitely a cultural thing, for sure. I don't think it's a craft thing. I think I do a bit of sewing myself, and crafters do have a habit of, you know, someone says, oh, I really like your dress, and you go, oh, thanks, I made it. Oh, but the hem's a bit squiffy, and this sleeves, because you know, you don't want to go, oh, thanks very much, it's absolutely perfect, it turned out amazingly, because that's
You don't want to show off with that.
But I think definitely, here on island, I think that's is compounded by culture. I definitely think that's the same thing for sure.
What is your thoughts, Lewis?
Because I would say this is my craft.
Right.
And like I feel the same pressure. I feel like I can't, like, I genuinely really proud of my videos, but I don't feel like I can be like, oh yeah, I love what I do. Like, you know, I gotta be a little bit like keep it down. So I get it too, and I don't know where they come from. But it is like the same thing in general. Like whether they stem from years or whatever, you know, just how the island was.
And I think maybe it is. It does come from a history of there being very much, I guess, haves and have-nots, and nobody wants to be walking around like they're the bee's knees. And I think that comes down to, it doesn't matter what, that doesn't have to be money or monetary things. It can be something like a craft. You know, I think saints don't like to show off. Exactly. I don't think. I mean, as an outsider, that definitely comes across.
So earlier you heard me talking to April. I actually spoke with April for a good hour or more. We initially covered the monetary struggles of being a crafter, but we delved into some of the other issues that they face here. As April was discussing some of the ideas that she had for the Arts and Crafts Centre moving forward, she also delved into a little bit more of the challenges that they face as a whole, and she later delved into some of her personal growth and experience that she's experienced while working at the centre.
We got a lot of plans to create space for a workshop. So these rails of clothes we would like to put into the shelves. That will free up all of this space so that we can get a permanent workshop table and hopefully host more workshops that aren't midday on a Monday. We've had a lot of engagement. We've had a lot of people interested, but unfortunately they're at work or the time just doesn't suit them. So the plan is to expand on all of that, facilitate more accessible workshops for everyone who's interested. But it's just making sure that we really boost that engagement first so that it's worth it for the artists and the crafters to donate their time. Yeah.
Because really you just need that like support from the community, really.
Yeah. But that's the thing, I think the Art and Craft Centre itself it may as well be invisible. People don't really look at it for what it could be. They look at it as a souvenir shop. They look at it as a place to walk in when you're bored or to hide from the rain, maybe. Just be a bit nosy, walk in for a chat and leave, maybe not buy anything and maybe not appreciate the work that all these artists put into the products that they make. But I think with our social media now and like everything we're trying to do currently, maybe more people will see what we're doing and how important it is. And then that could trail into the workshop engagements, more people commenting on social media saying, oh, we have ideas, this is what we want to do. Oh, I would love to come. Can you do it on this date? And then with that, we have evidence that it's worth it and maybe we can facilitate more. But it really does come down to the community and what they want. And if they see us, if they truly see us for what we're doing. I think working here has been good for me. Like I've spent a long time focusing on my education, you know, focusing on work and family or whatever. And I haven't been creative in a very long time. And now that I'm volunteering here, it gives me a chance to appreciate art. It gives me a chance to go home and try things out that I might have used to done back in the day, but not so much now. Trying to get back into sewing, and like, if we're thinking about displays here, I'm thinking about how can we do this in a big, bold way instead of just printing a poster. So it's helping me get back in touch with my creative side now that I have time to dedicate towards it. So I'm definitely an advocate for like allow yourself time to be creative, and if you don't have the time, try and make some time, because I'm really enjoying it. Yeah.
The modern world isn't perfect by any means. However, the ease and quality of products that we can produce is incredible. And it would be almost impossible to live in the world today without the modern products that we have. I mean, right now, I'm filming this video on a Japanese camera made out of various materials that were produced from all over the world. I guess it's up to us to decide how much we value handmade products, how much we value the time and effort that the crafter put into a handmade product, and how much we value the story and the history that these products hold. I made this video just because I wanted to learn a little bit more about the local crafts that we have here on island. By filming this video, I discovered that crafting is so much more than the end result. It's about the process, the passion, and the meaning behind it. So the next time you're scrolling on Amazon, looking to buy some mass-produced, manufactured product from some other country very far away, maybe just consider going to your local craft shop and seeing what there is to offer.